Hey curvists, welcome to episode number 93 on the Curve the Cube podcast. This is Jemmy, your host and producer from Flintstone Media, and today's episode is very special to me because for the first time it's all about me. So, this is my special birthday episode, and even though my birthday isn't for another, if you're listening to this on release day, isn't for another 5 days, it's this week, so it counts. And so I had Jessica Empress Prestige, who, if you rewind back to episode number 85, she, at the very end of her our conversation all about her, she turned the tables on me, and it put a little light bulb in my head, and I thought, wouldn't that be fun for a birthday episode, is to answer a whole bunch of questions from you guys. And so we did. So I invited her back to be my interviewer. She's from Exhibit Trio, and she has her own podcast coming out soon with Jafla called Trio Tummies. So I'm helping them come out with that. So look for that coming soon as part of the Flintstone Media Podcast Network. And the other person you will hear on this podcast is my really, really, really good friend, Scotty Fusion. He was on episode 20. He is a photographer, an actor, a production designer extraordinaire. He's also one of my best friends and part of my pod squad. So I was so happy that he could be there today. And you can find him on a random street corner most Wednesday mornings as part of Weird Wednesday for the KVJ show. And on here, you'll also hear them tell you how you can find them on social media. So please be sure to look up Jessica and Scotty and find them all over the place. And thank you to all of you who sent in questions. I was really surprised. I put the call out for questions, and sometimes you never really know with these things if people are actually going to respond. And I was so pleasantly surprised with the level of response. So thank you so much for all of you. So thank you. And I also want to say that this month I am very happy to bring you a very special contest I'm very excited about, because Curving the Cube is all about seeing the world through a new set of eyes and reprogramming how you view your life and making sure that passion is always part of it. Not necessarily in a, that other kind of way, but just be passionate about what you do every day. And, so I'm proud to present you this month with a special contest all about seeing the world through a different set of eyes. I'm bringing you a Dodo case contest. So if you are into virtual reality, or if you just like feeling like you're on a roller coaster ready to throw up and you haven't moved at all, you really want to try a Dodo case. They do cases for all kinds of stuff, like normal, just iPhone and iPad type cases, but they also do this really cool fold-up VR case, and you download apps, and you can look at this through this VR case and feel like you're in the ocean or in a mental institution and feel really creepy, or riding a roller coaster, whatever, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm giving away 3 of them this month, so look for those contests for the next 3 Tuesdays, including, if you're listening to this again on the release date, its first contest drops tomorrow, so look for that. And even though my birthday is not till September 10th, I wanted to get a head start on giving you stuff, so its first contest drops tomorrow the 6th. And thank you to my listeners and fellow curvists for making August our best month ever. It blew every other month out of the water, and so thank you so much for that. This very special episode of Curve the Cube is sponsored by my very special brother, and I mean special in I love him very much way, not in a he needs extra help and attention way. He's a very, very smart, brilliant man, and under his company, GL Esquire Consulting, he gives very sound legal business advice. If you either want to start your own business or need some guidance regarding the business you own or work for, give him a call. You can reach him at 786-531-9834, and he is a Harvard and Columbia Law School graduate. I told you he was smart. He's worked for some of the world's largest, most prestigious law firms. He even worked for Johnny Cochran for a summer, I think it was, and he's worked with clients in a variety of industries, including financial services, agricultural services, music production, fashion, technology, all over the place. So he's happy to bring all of that expertise and put it on a nice plate a warm plate for you and help you and your business needs. So when you're his client, he's not only your lawyer, but he's also going to be your really super trusted consultant and friend. So his initial consultations are always free. And if you mention the podcast, he will also offer you his friends and family rate. So yay! So again, reach him 786-531-9834 or by email at Gerard, standard spelling, at GLE, which stands for JAIME LEGAGNEUR, Esquire, GLEASQ, consulting.com, or on his Facebook page, GL Esquire Consulting LLC. And if you have trouble finding any of that, the links will always be in the show notes. And you can also find him on Twitter at Gerard Inc. or go to my Flintstone Media Twitter handle. I'm always retweeting him. And like I said, he's also on Facebook. So find him there. And thank you to DJ John Hitta for the music beds as always. And I also want to say, speaking of music beds, we're looking for local DJs to provide more music beds to the other shows on the Flintstone Media Podcast Network, like Egghead's After Hours, which is coming soon. I'm very excited about that, with some super cute key players in the Palm Beach tech scene. So if you are a local DJ wanting free exposure on some cool podcasts or on these podcasts or whatever, email me at mediaflintstone@gmail.com or go to one of my websites, flintstonemedia.com, curvists.com, JAIMELEGAGNEUR.com, and fill out the contact form. Try to make the subject, if you can, or put it in the body of the email, say something like South Florida DJ Wanted or something. Anyways, follow Curve the Cube all over the place, please, and subscribe and leave comments. That's how you keep us up in the rankings on places like iTunes. That's it. I will say sit back and relax as I answer everything on this, the very special 93rd episode of the Curve the Cube podcast, all about me. Curve the Cube, find your passion and do your thing. Enjoy. Curve the Cube will now initiate. And we're hot on the second mic as well. Woo! Okay, all right. So, Scotty, did you want to just do the listener questions and stuff, or did you have your own questions and stuff? Yeah. Oh, thank you for my coffee, by the way.
Is it too noisy in here to record this? Okay.
No, it's actually pretty good at concentrating on us. I'll move it a little closer, but it's actually really good at that.
Filtering out
background
noise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, so these are the listener questions. I have them here, and then I do also have to tell you that my brother texted me a couple of questions, but I promised him I wouldn't look at them.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to pull up his text message, and then again. So I don't know. Did you want to start, Jessica? You kind of started a good roll that other day when we were meeting, and I thought we could kick off with that. Yeah.
Well, one of my first things would be, every time I meet somebody, they ask, I like getting people's elevator speech. You know what an elevator speech is?
Like your pitch,
your spiel.
Yeah.
Thing. So can we start off with your elevator speech?
And she's not easy, man. She comes full. I knew she would give you a break. My elevator speech. Let's see. Well, it's actually good timing on this because
we're in an elevator.
Because we're in an elevator and we're stuck. So what else are we going to do with our time? We wait for rescuers. Actually, that has happened to me before. I don't know if this happened to you before, but that's happened to me before.
You've done a podcast in an elevator?
No, I've been stuck in an elevator before. You idiot.
For how long?
About 45 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it was a good story as to why I was late coming back from lunch that day. Well, because I've been in a company elevator for the last 45 minutes. Whatever, anyways, I digress.
So many questions.
Way to go, West Palm Beach Fire Department.
So are you going to intro into this podcast, or are you going to go back and do it in post?
I was going to do it in post, but we could do, remember how we did it the other day? I think that was with you guys, where we acted like, no, that wasn't with you. That was someone else. We can do, after we're done, quote unquote, reporting this, we can do our own little intro.
Great.
Yeah? All right,
Whatever
awesome.
makes you happy.
So
It's your
people,
birthday.
you will hear this rewind and you will go back in time or forward in time. I don't know how that works, but you'll go back to the future. But anyway, so my elevator pitch. The reason it's good timing is because I have new business cards that I stopped by my mailbox today. They weren't out there yet, so hopefully I'll stop by later. And I'm so excited because my new business cards say podcaster on it.
Nice.
And that is like a dream come true. So it says podcaster/digital marketer, and I'm so happy. So my elevator pitch is, so if we were talking about Curve the Q specifically, my idea with Curve the Cube is to get everybody to live their passion, to do what they really truly want to do in their life and were designed to do, and not to ignore that natural piece of them. So whatever you're passionate about, you need to go and do it every day. Some people can do that full time, and that's amazing and awesome, and they're very, very fortunate. Some people can only do it part of the time. Some people it's only a hobby, but for those people, regardless of what level, they're happy about it. So my idea of the podcast is to get more people exposed to the courage that it takes to do that, so more people also follow that same courage. And my pitch about myself as a whole, so I'm a podcaster now, and I'm so excited to be doing it, as my bestie would say, you're doing it, Jemmy. And so, I have Curve the Q, which I've been doing for a couple of years, and I'm actually, after here, I'm recording the first episode for another podcast that I'm starting called Eggheads After Hours, so look for that. I'm very excited about that project. And of course, working with people like Scotty and other great friends who are, other great friends who have guided me and helped me along the way and encouraged me, and in fact actually gave me said second microphone. Thank you, Scotty. And people like Jessica, who are doing amazing, wonderful things on their own, and just to be able to say that I can join up and rub elbows and help maybe take things to another level, and while she helps me take things to another level. So, to be able to be a podcaster, living my dream, and wake up every day exhilarated despite the exhaustion is my elevator pitch, man. Find your passion and do your thing. That's it. That's what it boils down to.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
See, you were stressing out and it came out good.
And the judges say, good answer.
Oh, yay! And I'm doing my pageant wave, ladies and gentlemen.
Next is the swimsuit competition.
Nobody wants to see that. Okay, so did you maybe want to hit my brother's questions up so we don't forget them?
Sure. Let's.
All right, let me bring them up here. So he has 3. So I don't know if you want to do all 3, but I'm not allowed to see them until you ask them.
Oh my God, that font is so tiny.
Oh, you're just so old, Scotty.
I don't know how to work iPhones.
We'll read it then.
Okay, cool.
Oh my gosh. We start with question 2 or question?
Yeah, let's start with question 2.
Question 2
Curve the Q.
says, without wanting to politically alienate your listening audience, the question is, how would you react if Donald Trump wanted to be a guest on your podcast?
Oh my God, I would shit myself with happiness. Let me tell you, I can't stand the dude. I'll just be honest with you, and hopefully if I ever do invite him, he doesn't hear me say that. I can't stand him. I think he's a joke. I think he is one of the worst, most vile examples of a human being I've heard about in a long time. The way that he is, this country is, we're constantly supposed to be on a road of repairing ourselves and making ourselves better and better and better, and every year making ourselves greater than we were the year before. And what he has done is now created some division. So however, despite of that, if I ever had a chance to have him on, I would jump for effing joy, because I would say it like it is. Unlike him, I would actually speak my true mind and my true feelings, and really be interested when someone is not afraid to pull punches and go after him. I am completely unintimidated by the dude, to see what he actually says and how well he can hold up
because I think his skin is a lot thinner than he wants everybody else to think, and I would love to see his reaction when he goes and sits across the table from someone like me. So I would jump for joy, man.
What's one question you would ask him?
What the hell is the matter with you?
Hell, you talking about?
You know, I would ask him, like, I would ask him for some, honestly, I would want some definitions. What do you think a racist is? What do you think a bully is? And how do you think that measures up against someone who blatantly makes fun of someone with a disability? Or, you know, someone who doesn't immediately dismiss the endorsement of people from the KKK and other such groups. Like, how do you really jive those two together and not let him squirm out of the answers? I won't stop until he gives them to me or admits he's wrong. One of the two is going to happen, otherwise it's going to be a really long podcast.
So it's funny because the second part of the question was, how would you interview him? So basically like a bulldog.
Oh, yeah. You know me, bulldog. Once I sink my teeth in here, I'm not letting go.
Yeah. He's one, him and Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
If I could get them like one-on-one, I think we'd have a lot of fun.
Under a bus?
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'd like to get him one-on-one under a bus.
Well, yeah, that too. But then I really think I could do more damage than that bus, you know? Just let me talk to you for a moment.
Okay, so I don't think I shared this on another. No, I think I told this to someone in private. But so my brother, speaking of, he every once in a while will do that random game FMK. Are you familiar with FMK? Fuck, Marry, Kill, where someone says three names and you have to decide who you're gonna fuck, who you're gonna marry, who you're gonna kill. And every once in a while he'll randomly put an FMK game on my Facebook page. Now listen, I don't advocate violence. If you know me, you know that that's the last thing I ever would advocate. But this is still a funny joke. So he writes on my wall one day, FMK, Sean Hannity, Ann Coulter, and Donald Trump. And my response was, this might be the only time I ever endorsed the KKK.
Right?
Just kidding. Hashtag
Actually, he might fall into all three categories. Because if you married him, then you can get his money, but then you can kill him, and then it's all yours.
Right,
so
but then there's that whole F part.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
For $1 million, you win?
I don't know, man. I don't think I could. I don't know.
They'll pay for a lot of therapy, though.
Oh God, I don't know, but I don't think there are enough therapists in the world.
Permanent damage being done.
Pays for a lot of alcohol.
Some things you never recover from. Okay, what's next?
You want to go on with another one of his?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I'm going to save his last question for the very end of the show.
Okay. All right.
So he writes in, I know two things. One, that you started a podcast, and two, it centers on entrepreneurialism. That's not an easy word to say. And or making a living following your passion. Which came first? There's more to the question.
Okay.
Did you want to make a podcast about something and then decide on the topic? Or did you know you wanted to do something about following your dreams and then decide on the podcast format? As a follow-up, depending on what the answer is to the first question, what specifically...
He's a lawyer, guys. Yeah. It takes a lot of words.
I could tell. He was like,
me too.
I was like, Lord. Jeez.
So
at
what
least
is...
I know who to call if I ever get into
right?
Exactly. But then you got to read these really long emails. What specific event triggered that very first decision?
Okay, that's a great question, and to be honest, they happened at the exact same time.
Okay.
So I've always felt expected to go in a certain direction with my life, pursue certain professional aspirations, doctor, lawyer, big shot executive, something like that. And I've always been so much more of a creative entity, and so for me, it never meshed completely well. And I always felt like I was ignoring or turning my back on my true self and what I really wanted to do. So I kind of thought I had found a happy medium by being a data analyst, because you can definitely put a really good career together as a data analyst, but at the same time, there's a creative side to it. But over time, as I got deeper into it, I realized the creative side is just it's not as much as I really had, it's not enough. And I've always had this thought, like, somebody's making it as a writer, somebody's making it as a musician, somebody's making it as a XYZ, insert your aspiration here. Why not me? And I'm like, I really want to start asking these people like, how did they make it? How did they make it? So I was sitting there at work one day having these thoughts, and while I'm having these thoughts, I'm listening to what is one of my favorite other podcasts, not to plug another podcast or whatever, but whatever. Nerdist, hosted by Chris Hardwick. President of Nerdist Industries is Adam Rymer, by the way. He was on my podcast many moons ago, so go check it out. But anyways, and I was listening to the podcast and realized he interviews people, and I'm like, why don't I just do the same thing? Let me just ask them, interview them, and then put it out there for everybody to hear and be inspired and motivated and have some of those same questions answered. And so it literally happened all in that same moment where I realized this is what I want my message to be, and this is how to get it out. I forgot what the follow-up question was, but my phone's locked. Hold on. Sorry. Do you remember, Scotty?
The follow-up question was, did you want to make a podcast about something and then decide on the topic? So we covered that.
Uh-huh.
Did you want to do something following your dreams, which you addressed? It centers around entrepreneurialism. I went to a Chicago public high school, and that's not easy to say.
I will say, though, that over time, interviewing people on Curve Cube has made my own dreams more clear, because it's allowed me to imagine more for myself. And so my dream has become more clear, and I've moved towards marketing and promotions, and now I'm more laser focused on podcasting. So yeah, that has happened over time. That was a little bit of an evolution, I will say that.
So I guess the question really is, are you more interested in how to make a living doing what you love to do, or making a living following your passion? Which came first?
I think you have to. I think you have to separate the two. I think it's always good to have the goal of wanting to make a living following your passion, but don't walk out of your job with raising your fingers. Okay, well.
No. I did it. I'm with you on that.
Oh, okay.
That led me to an eviction, repossession, and a blooming artistic vision. But it was like, it's balance.
Right.
Balance. And I think you jump off when it's time.
When it's time.
When you can jump off.
Right. You have to be smart about it. You have to set up a foundation for yourself already before you take that leap. But if you're going to, and some people, it's enough for them to just be doing something as a hobby or whatever. So I really want to make that clear. Like, you don't necessarily have to, this isn't necessarily about a career. If that ends up being the goal, that is the ultimate. Congratulations. Like, I think that's the best outcome that can happen. But don't feel like you need to burn your world down in order to make that happen. You do have to still be responsible careful for that and keep a roof over your head and food in your belly.
So is that a dream for you?
Yeah. And in fact, that is where the stage I'm at right now is really making that push to make podcasting full time. And so with that, I have the Flintstone Media Podcast Network that I just started, of which Trill Tummies is a sister show, and I'm very excited. And through that, I also will be offering consultative services. So if people want to start podcasts, I will help them along the way, a la Trill Tummies. Yes. Or you can do ad hoc podcasting services, so producing and editing and hosting if they need it or what have you, helping administer their account and all of that and promoting it. So I'm putting all of this together and setting a platform. I'm the organizer of the Palm Beach Podcasters Meetup Group, and so I'm having the relaunch event for that on September 27th. I'm really excited. Present company always invited, of course. And so the thing is, I've been really inspired by all of my guests to never stop reaching, never stop imagining, never stop curving my way around problems and figuring out my way to get to where I want to go. And then once I'm there, thinking about where's the next place I want to go and imagining bigger. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I feel like, the dream that may have been a year or two away of being a full-time podcaster is only maybe 3 or 4 months away. And I'm working really, really hard. And that's what it takes, guys. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes it's not pretty. So, sometimes you are exhausted. But it's so worth it. I've had a full work week. Also great doing digital marketing. I love it. Big plug for GC Results and Jeremy Pound. But then to also know that after I get home from work and on the weekends, I'm just as busy. I'm also a single mom, by the way, so I'm exhausted. Okay. True story. But exhilarated. I can't say that word enough. I'm exhilarated. I'm always so, I woke up so pumped to do this podcast today, to go meet with the Eggheads After Hours crew this afternoon, to tackle all the stuff I have to do when I eventually make my way back home. It's super exciting for me. I couldn't find myself in a better place. I really couldn't. Yeah!
So getting back to the question a little bit, you gave an answer that's saying it's always better to look before you leap. But would you also say that if you are blessed enough to have a talent and a passion and that you're really good at, to not be afraid to let go of your security, to grab that vine of your passion?
I have a perfect story about this. So
he's sitting across from you.
Well, then you tell it. You tell yours.
No, you go.
Oh, okay.
About you.
Well, you guys stop. So, the story I have to share isn't about me, but it's one that I personally was involved with and witnessed. There's a dog about to run away. It's loose. Okay, she grabbed it. Sorry. It was about 2004, I want to say. I was living in Virginia. I was engaged, and the guy I was engaged with was one of the most talented artists I've ever met in my entire life. Also one of the most classically vulnerable artists, that bleeding heart, always very, very sensitive about his work. We decided to move down to Florida. I was moving back home, of course, and I thought this was a great opportunity for him because there really wasn't a whole lot of tattooing, which is what he was trying to get into, tattooing opportunity in where we lived in Virginia. Tons down here, right? So what I did was I literally sat one day and made a whole spreadsheet, because I am a total complete dork, made a spreadsheet of every tattoo shop from Sunrise through Jupiter, from about as far east as you can go without falling into the water, till about Jog Road. That's that's hundreds of tattoo shops got their web address, their contact, their everything, right? Put it all together for him, hundreds. So that he had something he could use when he got down here. Now, he had been practicing tattooing for a couple of years, learning. A couple of my tattoos were homemade by him. Just one of these guys who has exactly what you're saying, completely blessed with natural talent, loved to do it, and heading into Florida where it's just fraught with opportunity. We get down here. He has his portfolio together. He has my spreadsheet in hand. I go off to work. He goes out to the day to try to see if he can get an apprenticeship. We meet up at the end of the day. He's all upset because the two places, keep in mind, 2 places he went the whole entire day, weren't looking for an apprentice. That doesn't mean they were personally rejecting him, but that's how he took it. And he never went to another tattoo shop. That is the fear that I hope my podcast overcomes. Because if he had the opportunity to listen to the interview I had, for example, with Chris Blinston, I believe it's episode 31, legendary tattoo artist, to know that it just takes that hard work and dedication. You got to keep at it. Perhaps he would have kept going. Now, the end of his story is good. I do know that he did find a place in DC and establish his own studio, but the point is, he almost walked away from it. Full stop. Almost walked away with it because of that fear. So you're right. If you're ready to step off that edge and that everything is in line for you, go for it. go for it, because you got to take the bull by the horns and take opportunities when they come, and make your own too. Make your own. Beat down doors. Make your own opportunities. You got to do it. Never stop trying. Never stop.
Make your own opportunities is something that definitely that sticks home with me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and I know it's your podcast.
No, please.
But making your own is kind of like, let's see. I don't know anybody who does the things that I like to do.
Yeah.
So even like choreo poems, the dancing, music, I don't know anybody. So I wanted to do shows like the ones I'm producing.
Yeah.
So the reason why
Which I love, it's so unique.
Them,
I love it.
Thank you. The reason why I started producing them is because I had to make my own.
Yeah.
Nobody would hire me because I wasn't interested in anybody's stuff.
right.
I was like, hey, I have to make my own.
Right.
So that whole, and what is it? Like evolving with the times. Like a lot of times we want to stay the same and just, this is what I do. But the evolving, and I see how you're evolving. You see, at first it was just a podcast. Now you like boss. We had a meeting. And she had like the go-tos, like what to do, what websites to go to, what equipment you need. I mean, she's like mama to the Trill tummy, mama Trill. So you just see the constant evolution, and then when you evolve, it just opens so many more doors.
Yeah.
So not only do you have the doors that you have for your podcast, and the love that you get on the podcast, like, oh my, I have never been interviewed for anything. I've been 5 years long. I've been doing this whole entertainment thing. Yeah. And then Jay hit me up and he was like, Cube? And then you hit me up and I was like, no, somebody's gonna interview me? Interview me?
Of course.
That made life worth it. It's like, especially for a small
you're so you have such an inspirational story, Jessica.
But you help inspire. It helps people who are doing this on a day-to-day basis feel like, okay,
oh, that makes you feel so good.
It's an interview. But I had an interview the other day. It's like, So it's
that's so
even
sweet.
Exchange of energy there. I'm pretty sure everybody who you interview was like, okay, we get interviews once a month around here. That's my first one in 5 years.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I that's the point. I hope I keep wanting people to be inspired and stuff. And I really do want you to share if you're willing, Scotty, to share what came to mind a second ago about your own story.
Sure. I mean, going back and we've talked for so long. There's so many things that I've done, and there's so many times that I've come so close to grabbing that brass ring. I did professional stand-up comedy for a while, and I was doing really good at it, but then I stopped because I just got afraid. I equate it to like swinging through the forest on vines, or the jungle rather, and you have one vine in your hand and you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
you just have to reach out a little further to grab that next vine, but you have to let go of your security to grab that vine.
Yeah.
And I've never had the faith to let go of it. Yeah. And whether it's been stand-up comedy or acting or my laser business or any of those things that I do, it's finding the courage to let go of that security. When you've got the talent and you can make it, but on the same token, you like having your bills paid and you like having insurance, you like all those things. Even though you're miserable, more or less, doing what you're doing because you have to do it, and you can grab that vine and do something that you enjoy and you can thrive at and it can make you happy and you can make money at, but it's that in-between when you're letting go of this one before you firmly grasp this one. It's terrifying.
The thing is,
and tormenting.
The thing is, that second vine is what's going to bring you back up.
But it's having the faith to let go of the security to grab it, to start swinging.
You just have to be smart about it. You have to, and it's scary. And trust me, it's been an exhausting, extraordinarily bumpy road for me. And you know, I have this little update snippet coming out today. So by now, some people, I'm sure, have seen it. Where August 27th is the day a year ago that I left my other job,
Wow.
my other career. So it's been a year exactly today. You know, and so today is really significant for me. But you know, since that year, you've seen it firsthand, Scotty. It's not been easy. It's been tough. And you know, when you're a single mom and it's not just about you anymore, it gets that much tougher because you have to weigh the guilt and the risks and all of that, and knowing how much time you have to put into something, and balancing that with making sure your child still feels tended to and loved and supported and focused on, right? It's been really tough, really tricky. There have been plenty of tears, but there's also been the part of me that just knows I'm doing the right thing, because I'm so, in the end, happy. I'm so happy, so much happier, and I know I would be so miserable still if I were, no offense to data analysts, but if I was still doing that, I would just be miserable. Absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
And we talk about the rough times a lot.
The what?
Rough times.
Oh, yeah.
What we have to, it's like rough, it's going to happen regardless in life. You're going to have rough patches.
Right.
But I think we kind of make our rough patches. So I'm the reason why I have this rough patch. Like, I know why I'm here is because I'm working on something different, and I just, it's a time to laugh and it's a time to cry.
Right.
And it's just, I keep that in mind all the time, because it's shaky. It is so shaky. I can't say I wanted to give up. I have like shrugged my shoulders at it. Like, I get mad at my dream all the time. Like,
Right.
God.
Get mad at my dream all the time.
Like, me sick.
I can see you standing there with like an animated version of your dream, pissed
So
off
mad.
at it.
So mad. It's like, I want to love it with all my heart. But you have those things, but it's like, what I learned to do is just kind of sit through the bad, when it comes to just sit through it. It's going to be like this, and it is. That's a part of it. Like, once you just it's a part of it. You can't run from it. You can't, just like the good, like the highlights, you got to put on your soldier boots. It's not all glitz and glamour. You got to be a soldier about this shit.
Absolutely.
And you got to go through it. You got to push through it. Like, it's been times, my first play, I got evicted. I was getting evicted. Second play, lights were off. Yeah. When we got home. Like, we left and lights were on.
No
and then
way.
At the end of the play, Jay was like, by the way, the lights were off.
No.
I was like, well, we sleeping on the beach. So we went
Oh
and
my
slept on the beach
God.
that night.
Yeah.
But it's like, shrug shoulders kind of, that's the part. It's just going to have to happen. You sit it through. And then at the end, your rewards will be like, your reward is going to be greater than any other way you chose. Because when you do your purpose, it feels so good. Right.
It really does.
It feels right.
It really does.
Doors start to open.
Yeah.
You had no idea.
And you know what? Speaking of doors opening, like, one of the biggest lessons, and I'm still learning this every day, but one of the biggest lessons for me through all of this was the willingness to accept the help of others. I'm a very, not egotistical, but prideful person. Like, I don't, I want to know that my responsibilities are my responsibilities and nobody else's. And so, as hard, as deep as the well went sometimes, especially on a financial, from a financial aspect, because when you go from a data analyst to starting your career over in anything, it's a huge hit. So to know, and I'm not just talking about financial help, just support, and I'm sitting across from someone who's been one of those major, massive supports for me, the willingness to say, yes, thank you, and I please, and know that at the end of the day, they really want to help you. Embrace that. Don't start having your hand out all the time. That's not what I mean, but be willing to accept the help and support of others. That's been a big lesson for me, because in the end, you'll get farther, and you know what? You'll have a better network of relationships, and you'll have closer people in your lives, and they'll end up benefiting too. It's not all, when you take, sometimes you're also giving, and you have to remember that. Yeah. So, do you want to do some listener questions?
Sure. Let's jump into this. We have a question here from Cassandra Shaw, who's 12 years old, and she asks, in interviewing people to encourage others to pursue their dreams, what have you learned about your own?
So I was really impressed, Cassandra, by how well she wrote this question. I was like, this is a really well written question.
Seriously?
12 years old,
right?
yeah, girl. Yeah, and I'm really excited that that she listens. I hope she only listens to the kids' episodes. But anyway,
I can guarantee you she listens to all of them.
so what happened? In like in interviewing people, I think I touched on a little bit. It's allowed me to expand my own vision, expand my own aspirations and imagination of what I can do, and while also focusing it in a more solid, specific direction. I've known I wanted to do something creative. I known that I've wanted to promote other people. I had a great time doing that campaign and learning that I can make a difference. And applying that in other ways and, through marketing and stuff like that. And it's been great to know that that's the direction I wanted to go. And then over time to more laser focus it towards broadcasting, podcasting, and to know that I have this thing and it's a platform, and it's not just a platform for me, but it's a platform to do the exact thing that I love to do, which is helping other people get exposure and for their great things. So, that's how it's evolved for me. Is the dream has stayed the same, wanting to help others in their own pursuits of happiness, but it's become more focused in how I do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, accept that answer. Want to do it?
I'll accept that answer.
All right. So Mark Camplin wants to know, how do you find your guests, especially Kevin?
Oh, okay. So, how do I find my guests? Oh gosh, all kinds of ways. Well, I'll start with Kevin. Kevin was easy.
Is that Kevin Ralston?
Yeah, he's the only Kevin I've had, so I'm assuming it's Kevin Ralston. That was easy. We got to know each other during the whole Save the KBJ Show campaign, and when they were off the air, we spent many times, a lot of times talking on the phone. And so when I decided I wanted to do a podcast, it was kind of a no-brainer to just ask him. So I asked him one night out at Dirty Martini, and he said yes. So that was Kevin. And in general, I find a lot of people online. Twitter is a great resource. I find a lot of people through word of mouth. Jessica, that's how I got in touch with you, is through Jason. Drop your keys. I go to as many conventions and those type of things as I can, like tattoo conventions, Comic-Cons, because people who go to conferences and conventions are very passionate about whatever it is that they're doing. So it's kind of shooting fish in a barrel. Like, I just walk around and say, would you like to be on my podcast? And yeah, so, but then there's some people who've been a little more pie in the sky, like Representative Louis Frankel, and did I say Louis? I'm like, Louis, oh my gosh, so sorry. Louis Frankel! Lord have mercy. It's the coffee, I swear. And what I've, just the coffee. And what I've learned through reaching out to those people is just don't be afraid to ask. If they say no, then your position hasn't changed. They weren't on your podcast before. They're not, so just don't be afraid to ask. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. This next one, I'm sure I'm going to butcher her name, and I'm sorry ahead of time. Saripa Ches?
I have no idea. You're asking me.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's right. If that's wrong, I'm sorry.
We love you, Saripa.
Exactly. Wants to know, who do you want to interview most, and which was your favorite interview?
Oh,
but
okay.
Be careful, because two of your favorite interviews are in front of you.
Oh my gosh, good point. Be very careful. Okay.
And if you say Jessica's number one, then I'll be number two. I got no problem with that. But we better be in the top two.
Exactly.
Or this interview is over.
Okay, so I would say definitely the person I would want to interview the most, even though I do try to concentrate on people in South Florida, this would be such a dream come true. And it's not a name that everyone's going to know, but it's John Williams. I know you know who that is, Scotty. John Williams is a legendary composer, film scorer. He's scored many of my favorites, E.T., Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Star Trek.
Hundreds.
I mean, Harry Potter, so many movies that are just have such classical scores. Jaws, Superman. Okay, I need to stop. But I would die to just be in his presence. It's something I've dreamt about since I was able to understand what music was. I've had a music crush on this man forever. So he's my idol. I would totally love to interview him. And as far as my favorite interview, I mean, obviously, present
Aside from
company
us two.
has to be excluded from my answer. I don't, I'm not, honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I've had interviews that have just been wonderful because the chemistry was just immediate. I'm thinking of Jeff from Vita Nova. He and I just had a great conversation. And let's see. And then there's some people who I just find what they do to be so above and beyond fascinating that the whole conversation is just so fascinating. Like Chris Goog, who's also known as Goog Underwater. He does underwater photography that's just brilliantly gorgeous. And he's completely unafraid of any of these sea creatures that would totally make me piss my shorts. So I think he's fascinating. So I don't know what my favorite one has been. But I would say that being able to sit across the table from Congresswoman Lois Frankel was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal day. That was a great day. Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Yeah.
So trying to pick one favorite is like trying to pick your favorite facet of a diamond.
just-
They're all together makes the big favorite.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. I could say Kevin Ralston because it was the first, even though when I listen back on it, it kind of makes me cringe because it was the first, So I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Oh God, I'm not good. Fresnier?
Yeah, let's go with Matthew Fresnier.
Matthew Fresnier. What has been the most frustrating in doing a podcast that you didn't expect, and how did you get past it?
Probably the most frustrating thing has been, and I know that everybody has schedules, everybody has things that come up, so this isn't a general statement, but when guests cancel or have to reschedule, sometimes, usually they handle it very, very well, and there's plenty of time, and it's seriously no big deal, and I'm very understanding. I've had very few people need to reschedule for anything other than a completely 100% understandable, legitimate reason. However, there have been a couple of times when I've had to go through agencies and they forget to tell me that someone cannot meet me that afternoon. And the podcast that I spent all night prepping for, that I should have heard about 3 days ago when they decided that it wasn't going to happen, it's now a wash. And that can be frustrating, but at the same time, it can also be a hidden blessing because it does force me to not get comfortable and make sure that I always have podcasts lined up and ready to go, and so it doesn't let me get comfortable. So it's a mixed blessing. You got to look at the bright side, I guess.
All right. This next one is from Lynn.
Oh, Lynn, yay, Lynn!
Lynn asks, who inspired you to start podcasts and who is your dream guest? Hashtag don't follow instructions well.
No, because she didn't email it to me. She's so funny. I answered the second part, John
Right,
Williams.
John Williams.
I would say who inspired me is probably, I'd have to say Chris Hardwick, because it was his podcast I was listening to and a big fan of when I decided to start my own. And when I decided to start my own, I used his as kind of a format model as best as I could, and to figure out what a podcast is supposed to sound like. And, the fact that I was able to talk to the president then of Nerdist Industries, well, he's still the president, but then I was able to talk to the president of Nerdist Industries, and at the end of my conversation with him, he said, "Oh yeah, Chris Hardwick, Chris should be here any minute." It just made me melt. I thought that he might just somehow mention that he was just doing a podcast with me. Just the thought. In my head, he definitely did. So I would have to say Chris Hardwick was my inspiration. He's my career crush. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Career
career crushes. I can't even go down my list. I'd be a career whore.
Whatever gets you to the top.
Oh, the next one from Mako Cheer Team.
Oh,
Hey,
this one
Makos.
was just.
Why are you so fabulous?
Why are you so fabulous, Jimmy?
Oh my God! So thank you, Makos. You're just terribly sweet, and that's all I have to say about that. That's all I can say about
That doesn't answer the question. Because that's the way the good Lord made you.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent answer. I would say that if I seem at all fabulous, it's only because I'm tapping into what I'm passionate about, and that makes me, I guess, shine with fabulosity. So everybody else do the same.
I think I want to answer this question for you.
Yeah.
I think you're fabulous because you're not afraid to pursue your dream. And you're so giving and helping the community and people get their dreams out and help niggle it out and crack that shell open to show them that there really is something more outside of what they're doing to get there.
Oh, you're
That's just one of the
nice.
many reasons.
Scotty,
I think you're fabulous. We'll start with your locks.
Oh, heck yeah!
Yeah.
And you know, I love locks. I love it.
Yeah.
But you're just fabulous because you have your personality. It's so big. It's so big. And you know how like one of those people that kind of make you smile. You don't even know you're smiling, no jokes or nothing, but you're just like, yeah. That makes you fabulous. And it's
thank you,
contagious. So it
hon.
jumps off on people. You make people feel very, very welcome. You know, it's your birthday episode. You know, we got to give you your flowers.
Oh, heck
You
yeah!
make people feel good. And it's just, you know, the fact that you like to do things for people, and like to, you know, your work is basically helping other people or putting other people out there. That makes you fabulous because a lot of people don't do that. You know, you're walking a road that's one of few. So keep it up.
Thank you. You're so
And
guys.
it makes you fabulous
Oh my
because in
goodness.
addition to doing what you love to do and doing all this, you mentioned earlier you're a single mother and you're a great mom to JoJo, so you keep that all in check. So.
Oh, thank you so
You got a
much.
nice rack, no homo.
I try, you know, poorly natural, just like my locks. You know how I do.
But all of that makes you fabulous.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you guys. All right. Enough of that.
All right, then let's get back. Scotty wants to know. We all know that you're a nerd, but why Hello Kitty? What's the origin of Hello Kitty?
Great question. Okay, so when I was little,
How little?
like 8, 9,
Okay.
you know, that was a time where it was a lot of girls collected Sanrio stuff. Sanrio's like the parent company to Hello Kitty. Think of it as Disney for Mickey Mouse, right? So Sanrio makes such cute little things. Like I remember I had this little those little wrist purse thing that you put on. You wear it like a watch, but you could put like change in it. It was cute, you know. So I always liked it, but it never was a huge thing for me. Speed up to my early 20s, I went through a really, really, really rough time. Where, I mean, just every part of my life that could fall apart was pretty much crumbling, really at a rapid, destructive rate. And I was depressed. And my friend at the time, she insisted that she take me to I remember one day I was really, really sad, and she took me to the mall. Now, if you know, I'm not a very girly girl, so that wouldn't be anybody's first instinct to take me to the mall, but there was a reason. The mall had a Sanrio store, and if you've ever walked into a Sanrio store, or if not, if you ever walked into a Disney store, it's like you can't walk in there and just not be instantly happy because everything's so cute. It's like, it's just joyful. So we walked in, and I looked at everything. By the time I walked out, I was a happy camper. And so it became like this tradition and this thing that bonded us even further. And so for me, that's kind of, it started representing this, remember to always be joyful. A lot of shit happens. But try to always find joy in something, somewhere. So that's why it latched on, and it's just stuck. That's Hello Kitty for me.
So your Hello Kitty tattoo is a daily reminder to be happy.
Pretty
Be
much,
grateful.
yeah.
That's awesome. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Even though, as Jay likes to point out, she doesn't have a smiley face because she doesn't have a mouth and she can't talk because she's a suppressed
anorexic
woman and
kitty.
blah, blah, blah. She still likes to be happy, damn it. So cute. So yeah, so that's the Hello Kitty story.
Nice.
So.
Well, if she doesn't have a mouth, then you don't have to clean out the litter box. Just saying.
It's true. Very true. Very true.
Unlike my kitty.
Oh no.
Mine too.
But do you want to ask my brother's last
I
question?
do, but
before
you're going to
we
have to
forget?
unlock
I have
the
to unlock
phone and don't
okay.
peek at it.
Before you ask your brother's question,
Yeah.
I got one more real quick.
Sure.
Where do you see? Well, how'd you come up with the name Curve the Cube? That was the first one I wanted to ask.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, I was sitting at work one day listening to Chris Hardwick and deciding that I needed to start a podcast and get the message out there. And I thought, what is that message? And the first thing that came to mind was breaking out of your cubicle rut, break out of that. And I thought, well, I don't want to tell people to completely break out of it because, like I'm saying, you don't want to, burn the house down. You need to do it smartly. So I don't want to have a negative or an irresponsible message. So instead of saying, just to break out of the cubicle and forget your job, it's more like figure out how to curve your way around it. Don't live in a box. Curve those edges a little bit and make your way around obstacles and problems that are keeping you from being your true self. So that's kind of where I came up with it. Curve that cube. Don't live in a tight, square, sharp-edged box. Like, be your true self.
With it.
Yeah.
And where do you see Curve the Cube? We're not gonna forget it. The next year. Next year this time, yeah.
Yeah. I really hope, obviously, to have more and more listeners, more and more curvists on board pursuing their dreams. I hope to be perhaps invited to speak at conferences or something like that. I mean, that's a huge pie-in-the-sky dream, but like I said, never stop dreaming, never stop imagining. So I hope to maybe be invited to speak at Podcast Movement. I hope to be invited on as a guest on more and more podcasts. Just to really, and I hope to really build a huge podcasting community down here, starting with Trio Tummies and Eggheads After Hours, and really grow a podcast community down here that's strong. So, I see myself in a year just bigger and better.
That's a good goal?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I need to unlock it again. Damn it, stupid phone. Okay.
All right. I hope I can get through this without crying. I actually,
crying?
yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
peeked at this one earlier. Question number 3.
From my brother.
From your brother. Do you know how proud I am of you?
Oh, damn it.
And how much I love you, sis. Happy birthday.
Aww.
It's not really a question. Oh, I'm proud of you. Do you know how proud of you he is? How proud you are he? Your brother's really proud of you.
Thank you for making me cry. I needed that. I mean, laugh. So I'm starting to cry. Yeah, I do. He's been one of those other people who's been extremely supportive, who's told me, keep pressing forward, don't look back, who's made me aware that I'm doing it, aside from my best friend saying, Jemmy, you're doing it, he's been someone who's, sometimes I don't give myself credit or stop to think about what's going on or what I'm doing. I'm so focused and full speed ahead that he's allowed me to step back and be proud of myself and so yeah, I'm aware because he's made me aware, so I love him for that. Thank you. And thank you guys for doing this podcast with me. This has been so much fun.
Thanks for all you do, and happy birthday.
Oh yay! It's been interesting to gain this perspective. So it's being on the other side. So thank you so much for.
It's a little uncomfortable, isn't it?
A little bit, but it's good. It's good. It's good to get uncomfortable a little bit, you know?
You have to, especially you want to be on more, right?
Exactly. So thank you both.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
And how?
And of course, as always, tell people where they can find you guys.
We're here at Starbucks.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Empress Prestige or Trill Tummies. The new podcast underneath Flintstone. Is it Flintstone Media?
Flintstone Media.
Ah.
But not underneath.
Beside?
Yeah.
You the boss. We have no problem. The thing is, I've been a boss for a long time. So I love when I have a boss. You know, it's like every time I turn around, they're like, Mama, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? So if anytime I can say somebody else is the boss, I give you all those kudos. You're like, Mama, you're so
Yeah,
funny.
where are we supposed to go?
Boss.
How about you, Scotty?
You can find me on Instagram at Scotty_Fusion. You can find me on Facebook. You could find Fusion, what is it? Fusion.
Scotty Fusion Photography.
Scotty Fusion Photography. Yep.
Which is due for an update. My apologies.
We need to do an update.
So look for
She's
that.
so busy doing all this stuff, we don't have time.
I know.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. And I also must correct myself. I think the Pod Squad episode we just recorded, I said that your Twitter handle had an underscore. It does not have an underscore. It's
Okay.
just Scotty Fusion. So
Scotty
I wanted to
Fusion.
make sure that was clear.
And if I figure out how to use it, I'll tweet you back. It's only been 6 years.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. High fives.
High five.
High fives. And let's do
like one of these.
Woo! And let's say this has been Jemmy, your host and producer, with Scotty Fusion
The host.
and Jessica Empress Prestige.
Co-host. Was that right?
Yeah, perfect. On this, my very special birthday episode. Thank you again,
What
guys,
number
so
is
much.
this?
Ooh, good question. Because 91, number 2. I think this is number 93.
Birthday. What number birthday?
Oh, number birthday. Just kidding. This is number none of your damn business. No, just kidding. I was about to say and then I realized I really don't want to say it.
I meant what episode podcast.
You're the worst.
Well, we'll see you in a year from now, Jimmy.
That's right.
All
Okay,
right.
tradition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We're married now.
All right. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Oh, that was fun, guys.
And guess who we want to be the first guest on Trill Tummies?
Stop it. No way. Are you serious?
Yep.
That's so funny. No way.
You have successfully curved the cube.